G'day everybody, and welcome back for some more ACS modding, Space Engineers modding, instead of Stationeers today, because I kind of stopped in the middle of something the other day before the SnowRunner stream, and I kind of felt like I really wanted to make some more progress today. This week, I should say. And this was the best opportunity for me to get that extra progress. I may have added some more goals for after release, but I might put this for after release actually. This planned idea for how to get things back to better standing with the enemies. I kind of made some progress on making the new base towers and things like that, sort of that style of thing. And I really wanted to just keep making some more progress. I just really wanted to get more done this week, basically. And this morning felt right. I felt inspired to do more. And so here I am. Also, thanks Chipsticks, and thanks Unfluffy Dave for 16 months. And also, for those of you not aware about Chipsticks, he's made a new modding tutorial, which you might want to take a look at. Where would I find that so I can drop the link? So Chipsticks is a good person to create modding tutorials because he's the only person who knows how to create... Well, he's one of two people who knows how to create character mods. The other one's Sectan, but I've not seen Sectan really do anything modding related. So, a good person to learn from, and teaching stuff that is well beyond my abilities. Stuff with Blender and all that sort of stuff. Every time I've tried to approach learning Blender, I've gotten to the point of making a donut and then distracted by something else because it's taken me so long. So Ragnarok, these towers are not intended to be found through beacons or things like that. Oh, you mean stuck on the top? Oh, sorry, Ragnarok, I get what you mean. Instead of having the turret on top, find an occasional tower that's just in the middle of nowhere that has a wind turbine on it. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Find something like this out in the wilderness with a... Do I have a turbine on my hotbar anywhere? No, my hotbars are such a mess in this save. Such an enormous mess. There we go. Find something like that just in the middle of nowhere. No explanation for it, just there's a wind turbine there. And there's nothing else. In fact, if I had this, I could make it even more random because I could get rid of the battery. No Stationeers tonight. I wanted to do this instead. Huh. Kind of like that idea. I also like the idea of maybe putting this in as an alternate option with the rest of these bases. I just wish Lucas had actually shown me what he meant by how I could get these to be random options for spawns without having to make 10 million spawn groups. Because he did mention it was possible, but he didn't mention how. And so I'm worried I'm going to have to do like loads of different spawn groups with the different offsets. Maggie Laggy, making a space elevator in Space Engineers is a great way to kill your save. the game doesn't handle that many blocks particularly well. You have to do tricky things to make sure that the grids that are joined up aren't actually the same grid and other things like that. I wish you luck in your endeavor to attempt to do it, but it is something that can very easily break your save, which is why it's something I haven't done in any of my series. Yeah, that even though it's a suggestion that I get heaps, it's something I will not do because of that risk. Some of you might have seen my tutorial on ladders, where I built a ladder from Earth to the moon. I actually had to move the moon closer to Earth to make that even possible. And the middle section of that ladder, i.e. the middle 20 kilometers, had no physics at all. You could fly straight through it. You couldn't grab onto it, you couldn't do anything. Ragnarok, they didn't make a space elevator in the trailer. They made a self-printing tower that got maybe a kilometer up. It's nowhere near space. But it does suggest to people that it's possible, which is something I'm not super... Yeah, it's just a raised platform. Exactly, Drago. Exactly. It can keep printing, but it will break your game when it gets to a certain point. Also, the tower they show in the intro video, it is being built in creative mode, not in survival. You can tell by how quickly it's welding. Yeah, Drago, absolutely. Aragath is an amazing builder, and I'm pretty sure he's not the only one that's at Keen that's doing the building. I mean, now there's Smoky as well. Both of those guys do some really cool stuff. TFE, I'm glad you showed up. Do you have any idea what Lucas was telling me to do to be able to randomize what would spawn as a secondary part of a spawn group? Because he said that was possible, but he didn't tell me how. That makes me wonder if I should try it or if I should just go my usual method, which is take big hammer, make many spawn group. No, Drago, I haven't put the arrow flag in yet. It is on my list of things, though. Check which ships work with aerodynamics. Yeah, big hammer mode is basically me making a huge number of spawn groups. Prefab indexes. I just add the flag to all by default, and if it doesn't work, remove it later. No, Loz, that's... So the same syntax I'm using for the escorts would mean making tons and tons and tons and tons of spawn groups. The escorts always spawn with the exact same escort. I'm trying to see if I can do that in a better way. Which, you know... Not something I'm sure I can do, but something I thought I could do. Oh, where's the... Yes. Yes, Laws, you did suggest hammer mode in unintentionally. Or as some might say, hammer time. Where did my... Trying to find where I put my things. My links to... Oh. I couldn't tempt you with that open hammer time there, could I? Yeah, Drago, that's what I thought. I thought I would have to make a separate spawn group for each type of thing. However, Lucas said otherwise the other day, which makes me think there is another way of doing it. Okay. Chilaris just asked why I wasn't doing Stationeers today, and I believe Takari's response to you, Chill, was using a shortened version of your name, not telling you to chill. Uh, Spawn conditions, prefabs. Alright. Oh, prefab spawning mode. Random. Huh. Hey, Black Shadow. How you going? Thanks so much for the last 6 months and all your art. Okay. So I don't... This may end up with me redoing the spawn groups for the high difficulty cargo ships once I learn how to make this work. But let's instead of that start with the bases, because that way I've got somewhere easier to start. Atmo installations. Small atmospheric bases. Medium. And what I might do is... rewrite this as small plus, because I can't think of a better way to phrase that right now, and it will still indicate what I was up to. So let's start with something real easy, and we'll go with one of these research bases. Not grab too much. No, I didn't. Yeah, my room is real bright. I like working in bright spaces. I don't like working in dark rooms. Yeah, it's not something it's not something I like. So what have we got? We got research base 41, 42, 43, 44. Okay, so this will be 45. Actually, let's go 51. Increment that instead. So, this tag allows you to specify how the prefabs in the spawn group will be spawned. The default all spawns all prefabs at their specified positions offsets. The random value will choose one random prefab and use that for the spawn. The selected indexes value allows you to provide a list of indices that are specifically chosen for spawning. Spawn group has 4 prefabs, and you provide indexes 0 and 2, and it will spawn the first prefab and the third prefab. And finally, the random selected indexes allows you to create groups of indexes that the spawner will cycle through each group and spawn one prefab randomly from the provided indexes in the group. Thanks, Broke. Thanks for 15 months. I'm glad you're enjoying Icarus. I know the light mode monster thing, blah, blah, blah. So... This text specifies if prefab indexes can be used more than once. So I didn't really understand this latter part of this paragraph. So what I'm trying to achieve is for this spawn group that I'm working on right now, it would spawn this research base and a random one of these towers. Well, probably these ones. Maybe these ones, but probably, yeah. Anyway, a random one of a few different types of towers, but it will always spawn this. So how do I do that? I'm guessing it's the random selected indexes. Oy. This tag allows you to specify a number of index values that are used to determine which prefab should spawn if the selected index's value in the prefab spawning. Oh, this is where my eyes glaze over and I get confused. Oh, I so need to see an example of this in use. For a random tower nearby, it might be easier to use an RAI spawn. Set the distance to 20 to 80 meters with no altitude value. Yeah, TFE, that's kind of where I was thinking. What I was thinking. So that would be in a behavior and have like a time-based spawn. So after a certain time, the base will spawn another base. Which will be spawned. Okay, yeah, let's try that instead. Let's try that instead, because that's how Abandoned Settlements does its villages. Yeah, I think that's a much better way of doing this rather than a whole new spawn group. Because then I can just, well, I'll still have to create new spawn groups because I have to attach a different behavior tag, but at least this way I can do similar to what I did for the, yeah, if I can do this, like, yes, I like that idea better, TFE. Right, so if I'm doing that, I need to go to... Where is that on my screens? Why are you not staying up? Huh? Hello? That was weird. So behaviors. Base, Atmo, medium, behavior. Yeah. So we need another trigger. Dash Atmo medium support structure. He even gets lost on his own desktops. Great. Josh, you. TFP, I'm glad you showed up when you did, because, yeah, you're gonna... This... Much better. Trigger. Alright, so that's going to be a timer trigger. Do I have any timer triggers? Copy that. Do I want it to be a timer trigger, or do I want it to be a really long range proximity trigger? Because if I do a really long range proximity trigger, it means it won't spawn in unless the player gets to that range. Which means if it spawns in, it kind of does the same thing. Starts ready, true. Cooldown, none. Max cooldown, none. So the idea of using a proximity trigger initially to me was that it wouldn't spawn in unless a player gets close, which means you don't have an extra grid sitting there if the player doesn't get close enough. And I could set the distance to be, say, 5Ks. Most bases will spawn within that, though. But yeah, as TFE points out, the performance hit's going to be basically near zero, so I may as well just do it at spawn. Which means we want to find trigger. And we change this to type timer. Basic geometry that triggers after the cooldown. And we're going to use starts ready is true. We can get rid of that. Change this so we've got an action. Max actions will be 1 for this time, but for higher difficulties, I can just create another action that does multiple. Can't wait for each tower to count as a base and to exponentially expand across the entire region. Ah! Huh. I mean, it'd be game crippling, but you could do that as a sort of a scenario where you have to destroy the bases before they destroy your game. You just have a long enough timer, say like a 15-minute time, and every 15 minutes it spawns another base and another base and another base, and you just keep getting pushed further and further back until you can finally take the fight and destroy them all. Stop the virus from spreading. That could be quite a fun survival scenario if balanced well. I kind of want to do that now. A little bit. Is there a way to give the spawner a PCU limit? There might be. Yes, RTS style turret creeps of death. Okay. Do I need a minimum cooldown, maximum cooldown for a timer-based thing? Hmm. Trying to think of which thing I've got a timer trigger set up already. It's in the cargo ships. I don't know where you set. I don't know if MES ignores PCU limits per faction. I normally use 1000 to 2000 milliseconds and start ready to false. Okay. So it spawns just after. Seems fair. There are ways with MES to make grids cost the faction, but yeah, I thought it did ignore PCU limits, and I think I know why it ignores PCU limits, and that's because PCU limits were actually causing issues with vanilla NPCs and people getting unexpected behavior because they're like, why aren't I getting more drones? Because you've got the max 5 drones in your game. 5 of them are disabled, but they're still in your game. Use chat broadcast. I will leave that true. Nah, we'll be able to see if this is working or not. I may regret that. I'll leave this in here so I can add a chat. Spawn encounter true. Spawner. Then I need to create the spawner group. And the spawner group will be this. What language is this coded in? These are just little XML file more. It's not really I'm not really doing any scripting or things like that, so I'm just kind of messing with configuration files more than anything. I wouldn't call what I'm doing anything like coding. TFE, with the min altitude, max altitude, do I just delete those tags or should I set them both to 0? Or like 5, like 2, -2 and 2 or something? Just delete them. Alrighty. Ignore safety checks. I'm guessing we'll put that to true. Use relative spawn position. True. Maybe? I'm going to strongly ignore that suggestion. For one reason, I have no desire to learn new software to do things that the software I'm using is perfectly capable of doing. Oh, we'll leave it at false. Fine. And now we need to name these towers. What should I name this? And I probably want to make it a little bit taller anyway. Ragnarok, I have not created any rigid assert law. The reason I haven't created any rigid assert law is because I didn't want there to be any, really. I wanted it to be whatever you want it to be, not whatever I predetermine it to be. That may change with time as I make the behaviors more complex, but with the behaviors being as simple as they are, I feel like trying to attach law to it is a bit of a fool's errand. And something that's likely to just mean that it doesn't really make any sense. Because it'll make sense in those specific situations, but there'll be plenty of situations where it won't make any sense. That's just my take on it. And I guess for me as well, it's kind of how the mod started as well, which was all I wanted was just something that could defend itself better than the existing cargo ship mods out there could do. When I first made the assertive cargo ships mod, cargo ships didn't call for aid. They didn't have systems that would call in any help or anything when you attacked them. They were just passive. Passive with turrets. And then I realized that you could use the vanilla drone spawning mechanics to create spawns that would do something. That would manage to fight against, like, that would call in something. And so it added a bit more of stuff to go along. And I think that's why the assertive mod became popular when I first released it, was because it was the only one that did those things. Nothing else even tried. And it was kind of special as a result of that. And then I like to hope that perhaps that sort of pushed Lucas to do what he did with adding all these extra behaviors that we could do with the spawn groups. I think making the towers that tall is probably a good idea. Although I'm going to have to make a... Oh, actually the civilian bases don't. No, I'm going to have to make a special behavior profile for this. Because I need to have either a control seater or a remote control so that this gets placed in the correct orientation, I think. Now, it's probably going to be quicker to copy this. Redo it for the other options. Yeah. Good old cargo ships that just spawned in and flew by and did nothing. However, at the time, it was incredibly impressive that Lucas managed to even make that a thing that was possible. Because prior to Lucas coming along, it didn't even do that. It did it in space, but not on planets. Atmospheric cargo ships are something we can kind of thank Lucas for. Eyes and these were rusty from long ago. This isn't recent. But yes, in Rust we trust. Yeah, that's definitely true, Jax. You can, because of the cargo ships having come from different designers originally, you can see some common threads in their design ethos. And kind of, it gives you the idea that maybe some of the ships came from the same manufacturer. Okay, what am I going to name this tower? Water Tower Rust. Huh, that seems like a good name. Apparently I did make it... give it a good name earlier. Oh, that's right, I'm... yeah, I'll start the conversion. Yes, that is a fair point, Ragnarok. They nearly all have a story about a crew lost because there's no crew on board. I suspect if I get around to the point of making these work better with AI enabled and make sure that that side of things is working, I will be able to change that and change some of those data pads so that they don't say those things, because you'll get on board and the crew will still be there. So with AI crew, then we can start changing that story. But I think when I asked for submissions for stories, that was the style of story people went with, because they knew the ships and bases would be abandoned, would have no one in there. Yes, it does, Jax. One of your ships does hint at malicious AI shenanigans. Hey, Misa. If every ship has that data pad, maybe every ship is an insurance scam. Oh, that'd, yeah. That's my new headcanon. That's my new headcanon. That's brilliant. I like that. Do I want... I think... oh yeah, that tower probably look alright. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe not. Just trying to decide whether this tower that I designed the other day is interesting enough, or if it'll be too boring. I guess I'll use it, but I'll see how it looks when it actually spawns in. Because I have to do some fiddling around with distances of the spawn and all that sort of stuff. Info NPC-ACS Morse support tower 1, because someone said it looked like Morse code on the side. Said it's just a fake scapegoat company that exists for tax reasons. Yep, that also is something that would fit with my headcanon. I know people aren't necessarily going to be focused on how it looks, but I think it matters. I think in any game where you're expecting the player to interact with a thing, the more detail you put into said thing, the less likely it is the player's going to be taken out of the moment because of a lack of detail on that thing. So the extra detail that exists in the game worlds for things like GTA matter for that reason. And that is not going to look right. Weirdly, I think the missile turret would look right on top of this, but anything else won't, so we'll go with that. Back to the turret. Regular old boring turret. Like, because I expect you to defeat these things, and then you can look at it, then you'll walk up to the base or drive up to it to loot it. And if you walk inside and see a smashed up place that looks like it used to be a real place, I think that makes a difference. At least it makes a difference to me, and I know it's the sort of thing that makes a difference to a player like Capac. So I think that matters. I just had a bit of a thought. I'm going to try something. Oh. Yeah, that doesn't work. It's too low on the next bit. Just trying to think if there was a way to put railings on the side of these that didn't look weird. Answer? No. There's also an extra little bit to this, which is I like making things like this. I like making things that have those extra little details. That's my jam. I know it may not seem this way, but I do spend quite a significant amount of my time trying to make Space Engineers fun for Capac when he plays with me. I know it may seem like I'm constantly trying to make it not fun for him, but that's not actually the case. I just laugh at his pain. It's not that I'm trying to make it unfun. Yeah, Jex, the survival capable thing is a tricky one. Because I think sometimes making things survival capable makes them so big that it makes it... Yeah. Yeah, the deconstructed glass is the railing, but the deconstructed glass is a full block above. Hold up. Do we have the necessary bits of paneling to do a half height? We do, don't we? So you can sort of do a half height now. If you ground those down. That's probably your best half block height one. I think I prefer it without though. Jax, I am very excited for submissions reopening, and I have some ideas about how I can do that even before I've processed all of the previous submissions. So that I alternate between the old and the new over time. But the nice thing about me getting close to this thing being released is that I will be able to start that soon. What else can I do to this tower to make it a bit more interesting? Yeah, asymmetrical ships do add something fun. If you could do something asymmetrical that looks good, that's kind of impressive because it is a hard thing to do. What does this look like with heavy rust? With blue. Barely different. Okay. And we just go regular rust. Yeah. Thought I'd make a dilapidated version of this. I would kill for a chance to do a 6k boss ship. Jax, you may get that chance. Given that I've kind of tagged your ship style as the military fleet for ACS. What shall I do? Nope, that's too much. Yeah. So is that actually. That's too much. That's too bright against the rest of it being so run down. Oh, actually, this is going to be a problem. Agreed, Ragnarok. The more build states we can get, the better. The more painted build states, I should say. I've said so many times, I want a battered build state. I want battered to affect the metal of the build state so that we have a matte finish, non-rusty, non-snowy build state. I genuinely don't care which of the paints they apply it to, but one of these paints needs to give us a matte finished build state. So it would add so much potential. Alright, we got 6 towers. Glad you enjoyed the Arc Streams, Rabbit Penguin. Not sure how I'm going to do more of the Arc stuff, given I don't think Capac's coming back to it. Except for some sort of wrap-up of the server stream. But, yeah, I I'm still trying to think about how I'm going to continue this, but because I was enjoying some of the jank that was Ark, but Capac was not. Did Capac rage quit Ark? Kinda. Yeah, I think you can. I think you could say Capac's done. I think that's fairly safe to say. I'm not done with it yet, but Capac's done. No, Pav's still enjoying himself. Yeah, Jax, I don't think so. I don't think this. I don't think the stream has anything to do with why Capac didn't enjoy Ark. I think the reason Capac didn't enjoy Ark is the same reason that he gets frustrated by a million other things. Capac expected Ark to be one thing, and he hoped for what it would be, and it disappointed him at every turn. Every time he thought it was one thing and it would be capable of one thing, it wasn't, or it wasn't as capable as he thought it would be. So I think it's that thing that I've said a few times. Capac is the depressed optimist to my happy pessimist. I expected Ark to be terrible. I expected it to be every broken thing I'd ever heard about it. And I expected it to barely work and frustrate me. Basically, I expected No Man's Sky with dinosaurs. And when it wasn't, and it was better than that, I was happy. Capac expected it to be as good as his dreams had said Spore was before it was released. And he was just as disappointed as he was when Spore was released. So... it's his depressed optimist and my happy pessimist. I expect the world to be terrible, and it usually surprises me in a positive way, which makes me happy. He doesn't think that way. So, basically this is to say, Pav and I would like to continue playing Ark on stream. We've just got to figure out a when. But Capac will only be part of that toward the end. I'm going to save my... what I think is probably last time I can get him to play it without him being really annoyed at me, for when I think it's going to be something special. So, like, when we do, say, a big do the big boss fight or something as the finale and go and show off everyone's bases, all that sort of stuff. That I'll drag him along for. But until then, I think I'll just leave him be, and if he asks to do more, great. If he doesn't, that's kind of what I expect. Yeah, Ragnarok. Spore is still a very, very sore point for Capac. I think that was one of the last games he truly got... that might have been one of his earlier hyped games that disappointed him. As in, he was hyped about it, and it disappointed him. which is probably why it still stings to this day. The reason that I mentioned No Man's Sky in that little rant was because the current version of No Man's Sky still irritates me beyond all good sense. I don't know why, but that game just puts me in a foul mood. Just terrible. Pretty much, Dragon. Capac needs. I think Capac would benefit from reality checking his own expectations, but I don't think he ever will. As much as that will pain him, I don't see him ever changing. Like, ever. Oh. Spawn groups, installations, Atmo. What are the chances we might play Green Hell? Probably not great at the moment, to be honest, because we'd both like to try and find some time to play Raft with Nab and DE, and we'd both like to play Grounded again with it releasing its storyline stuff. I know Grounded isn't coming out till September, but it's almost July, and with the rate of different games that we bring in, September's going to roll around really fast. So I suspect Green Hell's just going to be one of those ones we missed. So, TFE, are you still in chat? And if you are, what do I need to do to set up a spawn group for these towers so that they can't spawn on their own? First off, let's make a quick tower behavior, which will basically be a blank behavior for now. Make planetary installation tag false. So that's okay for it being a separate spawn then. Cool. Pains me every time I type behavior without a U. Oh, rival AI spawn. True. Oh. It took me a while, TFA there, to realize where you were meaning when you said look up, because I started reading up chat and I'm like, but I read your previous message. And you don't have a previous message to that one recently. I didn't realize you meant look up in the text file. Alright. Base tower behavior. We can probably just get rid of everything. Neil's team, I have no idea what that is. More support tower. Yeah, cool. So we got that. Now I need to create. So that should be fine. Got our action. Spawn, support structure. Is rival AI spawn, use spawn, true, starts ready, true. Minimum distance 50, max 80. Cool. Why would I be using Team Viewer, Neil's team? Like, I don't see how it's remotely relevant here anyway. Like, at all. If I had, like, when I've done streams where Lucas has been directly, like, on voice chat, I've just streamed to him directly through Discord, so there's minimal latency, as well as streaming to Twitch. But yeah, I have no reason, I have no idea why you brought that up, because it doesn't seem relevant. But I might be missing something. Who knows? That theory should be working. Just make sure that that trigger is added to the top list of triggers with the same name. Yes. So anything with a medium behavior should now potentially get that. Should now get that tower. Save, yes. Let's see if we get that to actually happen. Or if I load up the mod and it gives me a whole truckload of errors. Which it could do. That is quite the snore, Charlie. Quite the snore. Which is probably not coming through the microphone, thankfully.
Fuel critical.
Make sure there's no grids around. Check my threat score. check my spawns. What are the medium ones called? Medium behavior. Operations Outpost 17. Is that a valid spawn? Yes. MES dot spawn planetary installation. Outpost 17. Which has the more support tower. There we go. It worked. Do you have ammo? You don't, because I didn't give you ammo, but can you shoot if I make myself shootable? Nope. No, I haven't gotten Charlie a bandana yet, Black Shadow. I keep forgetting to actually put any of the orders in. I should really do that. I also just realized something. That said it was calling in drones, and I haven't gotten any drones, which means I think I know why. Oof. I thank you for the reminder, though, Black Shadow. I will try to remember to do it soon. I was kind of waiting to decide on what other things I would order at the same time. Does this tower work with the base that it's next to? I think it does enough. No, Kerry, I haven't. I mean, I've sort of done some tutorials on how to create what I'm doing for MES, but I haven't specifically done how to mod Space Engineers because I don't feel like I have the necessary levels of understanding to make sure that I'm pointing people on the right path to start off with. I can show them how to do what I've done, but what I've done is a very butchered way of doing things that you could do better. Do you think you could have the drone's manual targeting of static weapons applied to a gyro-controlled custom turret? I can get the custom turret controller exists, but it has a max range. I don't know. I don't know how MES handles a subgrid attached to something else. Like, you'd have to have the rest of the I think you'd have to have a remote control block on that turret and nowhere else on any of the connected grids. And I don't know how that would work, or if that would even work. And yes, it is Notepad++ that I use, but as has been brought up this stream, lots of people use other stuff, so meh. I use it, it works for me, it does what I need it to do. And it has more useful features than just straight up Notepad, so. I, Also, as I brought up at the start, if you're looking at learning some modding, check out some videos that Chipsticks is working on. Chipsticks, who has made most of the regularly used character mods that are out there. Okay, I need to load up the other game. And I'll put some ammunition in. Indeed, Dragnon, don't... If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hopefully one day Keen will give access to the targeting stuff for modders, because it would be nice for them to be able to use it. It would be quite handy. And export them again. Hang on. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I had it up before. This is his latest one, the link to his latest one, but he's done more than that one. Chipsticks is responsible for the creator faces mods that you've seen us use, where you've got Capac's face, Shaq's face, Wasted's face, on the engineers. Okay, so now we can do this. We know... I might actually put that deeper in the ground. Let's try minus 12. Put another 5 meters deeper. It was pretty high up. Now we copy it for all the others, and then we have to keep going until we get all the different spawns. Still waiting for the spacebar character where the faceplate goes up and it's just another creepy smiley face under it. Mm-hmm. Well, it almost happened that DE... at one stage, it was possibly going to happen that DE was going to be a plushie for a stream, no matter his choice in Wrong Way Up. But we decided that it probably wasn't worth the work for Chipsticks to do that. Alchemar, I imagine that it doesn't make a big difference which order you watch these streams in. Um, really? The main reason, honestly, like, really the main reason I stream these is because it means that I've got enough time to actually work on it and get progress done. If I didn't stream it, I'd make very little progress. Minimum distance, let's go. Yeah, 30 meters should be enough. Okay. Theory, that should be fine. TFV, I'd just put you on voice if we didn't do this on stream. Save change recording. Yes. That is a frustrating problem to have with Twitch, Naughty Snake. I have no insight into what you could do to fix that.
Fuel critical.
Let's get rid of everything here. I'll have to fix up the spawners soon. Let's spawn a few. Hey, thanks, Dark Eagle. Thanks for 3 months. So we have the Morse Support Tower 01, 02, and 03. That height looks pretty good. In fact, I think it looks better than what it did before. I could possibly drop it further, but I think for fairly flat ground, that works nicely. And that distance is, I think, about right. It's far enough out that it's can definitely create different firing angles depending on its relation to the apparent grid, but it's close enough in that they're clearly connected. This one, maybe they just built nearby some abandoned thing, is kind of what I was thinking with that tower. Yes, you don't need to choose between work and content if work is content. Exactly. Oh, the maintenance guy is on break. Yeah, he's only bothered to maintain the one that's actually on the base. These are going to be such a pain to deal with. They might be. What the? Oh, no. No, I coloured the... No. Why? Why do I do these things to myself? Right, let's see if we can get any of the other towers. We've only got more support towers so far. There we go. Water tower, rust. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is make these towers not match up to this base. This base is going to get different, bigger, stronger looking towers because the base itself looks quite robust. But this was more just a test. This is cool. This works. Unlimited tower, yes. Yeah, with long range guns, the drones are the main threat. Uh the it was always something that how it made me hold off from adding weapon mods to any of my survival playthroughs because I didn't want to outrange the enemy turrets, because if we outrange the enemy turrets then you'd just snipe off the turrets from a range they couldn't hit you. But Keen clearly didn't worry about that when they made the warfare update. But it is what it is.
Fuel critical.
I don't think that we should change all of the turret, like all of the ranges back down to 800 meters. I think what we need is the ability to have NPCs shoot back at you. Yeah, Lohin, the weapon range thing was only a part of why I didn't like having weapon mods. The main part was that they were all horribly unbalanced. Yes, as described by Ultra Mega Helmet. I installed the randomized NPC weapons mod, had NPCs outranging me. Oh, there's a trade ship 5 kilometers out. Oh, and my base explodes. Yeah. That does not fun gameplay make. All it does is shift power, make power creep, and mean that instead of engaging at a distance where I can see the thing I'm shooting, I'm now not. Which, as someone who makes video content, not exactly ideal. I kind of want things to be seen. I prefer things to be seen. I don't know what you mean by a 4-point turret. Yeah, kinda, Unfluffy Dave. Kinda. I don't want realistic space combat. Realistic space combat is over before the human brain can register it. I want fun space combat. I aim for things to look and feel realistic enough, but realism, I think, as a gameplay goal is fraught with dangers. Also, for this one, these should be off. And that's going to bother me, so we're going to do that. Oh, yeah. I mean, I see what you mean, Naughty Snake, but I don't want that sort of build for NPCs. Where you've got just... It's effectively turret spam because you're just putting it at every location you can. Yeah, Macron, less damage from the weapons could add some nice options. And could also allow them to add the explosive damage to the rounds that explode visually, rather than them just doing point damage, just like a Gatling. Right. We have towers. I now have to decide which bases get what towers at what level and sort that side of things out. I think what I'm going to do... These bases will be difficult to assault, but they don't have to... be that difficult, do they? As in, I'm just trying to think about what level these bases should spawn at, these larger ones that I've made. Let's have a look. So, currently, I have this base Atmo medium behavior, which doesn't work because all these spawn groups are wrong. Now they should be right. So this should work now. Wonder if I can replace all the other stuff in it without breaking it. Let's find out. The thing about so weapons doing less damage and thereby drawing out combat by everything being a bit of a bullet sponge. The thing that does is give an advantage compared to the current system to things that can hit accurately and can pick off specific parts of a target. To me, that's kind of a nice thing because that gives players a nice human style advantage over the NPCs because as players um, we can outsmart the AI by making something that's really maneuverable, controllable, and can really hit where we need it to hit while tanking enough damage to get there and do it. My workaround to that issue of drones just going pop was to have a drone printer, which I think once I get into full-on combat in Survival Impossible, I'm going to have to upgrade that printer to make it much, much quicker. I liked the complexity of it, but it's really slow. Well, Ragnarok, decoy blocks, the way that decoy blocks attract damage to them is only relevant on large grids. And I don't necessarily mean large grid block built things, I mean things that are physically large. With the inaccuracy of weapons in Space Engineers, your decoy needs to be a long way away to be able to draw fire away from your critical systems. If it's not far enough away, you're still going to get hit by the randomly, terribly inaccurate weapons. Almost as much as you would without them. Oh dear. I broke it. I done broke it. Error loading, spawn group. Ah. Okay. Yeah, jettisoning decoys works, but it's really hard to make enough of them to make it useful. Spawn groups. Wait, why is there an error in spawn groups cargo ships at Mohai? Okay, let's look through for these problems. We'll start with the... Oh no, it's at my medium and at my high that are the problems. Why am I not getting... Why have you not got an assisty thing? Now... Oh, how did I break this? Trigger prox var... ACS ammo medium trigger support structure. Action support structure. Spawn. Spawns are correct. Yes. I'm sure whatever I did is... I'm not sure the whatever I did is subtle. I probably broke it in a really bad way. Let's just do this the hard way. Oops. You didn't break the code, you crashed it backwards into an asteroid. No, if I did that, then it'd be non-existent code anymore. There was not a lot left of the teal after that.
Fuel critical.
Wow, Laws. That's some impressive I mean, as in for me, self-referential thing for me to say. I've ragged on Splitsy enough lately that despite his assertions that it isn't necessary, I feel like I need to be supportive for a while. I'm surprised you didn't write emotionally supportive for a while. Well, Ulrich, that's exactly how decoys work. They don't absorb damage. They distract targeting, which doesn't really work for something that's small and within what's referred to with these sorts of weapons as the beaten zone. The zone that would be killed is wide enough that drones basically can't make use of decoys because they'll be too small. And it's, yeah. Okay, that's working. Will I get drones to spawn? Yep, drones are spawning now. Good. The drone's going to fly toward me. That looks like a yes. Alright. Oh, hang on. One last thing just to be sure. I'm pretty confident it's fine, but just to be sure. Why aren't you shooting me? Huh? You have ammo. Why aren't you shooting me? Surely that gun should be shooting me. Anyone got any theories? Yeah, it's an interior turret. It'll be by default set to target players. Back here. So it is set to target at 600 meters. Small ships, large ships, characters, stations. And it was definitely an enemy faction because it's red. Yeah, So, there's a thing in Space Engineers since Warfare 2, I think? Or maybe it was Warfare 1. Where characters will only be targeted by one weapon on a grid. So only one of the turrets on this grid should hit me. This is a separate grid. So I thought I should have been shot at by both a turret on there and this turret. But that didn't happen.
Fuel critical.
Aren't you shooting? I can shoot. Go away. If I get rid of all of these, will it then shoot? Okay. That's interesting. So it's not one turret per grid per character, it's one turret per character. So if you can get an enemy NPC turret to target you, but it can't hit you, you've got free reign to shoot at every other turret. Not super easy to exploit, but definitely exploitable. No, they are 100% different grids. I can show you. No, I can't. I can show you. If I pick up the ammo.
Inventory full.
If I stick this on the side. Info. NPC ACS Morse support tower. And this one. Operations outpost. I think this is Keen's fix for the dogs using all the ammo. Laws, Capac and I have built a huge shield on the front of a rover before. We did that in Escape from Mars. Come back as bulldozer. It kind of would have worked better if the vehicle had been able to move quicker. I don't think there's much I can do to overcome Keen's weird turret shenanigans, but otherwise this works. Yeah, Graz weapon core would fix that, but it would break something else. Alright. Now, I need to make these... I'm feeling quite confident that it is one turret per character. Full stop. Um, so if there's ever a sign that my attitude about minimally modding my series is a nice, safe thing, if there's ever a sign that that is the truth, it's that Wrong Way Up ended up having more mods than Vanguard. So, if I've ended up with a series that has more individual mods than something that Wasted's making, it's a sign. How reliable a sign, but it's a sign. Uh, no, I don't think so, Ulrich. I don't think you can, and I don't think it'd make any difference if you assigned different buildings to different players within a faction. I don't think it'd matter. I, I definitely could be wrong on that, but I don't think it would matter. All right. The behavior's working for the medium bases. Now I need to go back, and we've got all the spawn groups for that group of towers. So let's go back to the spawn groups, installations, Atmo, and we're going to break that file up into 3 separate files the way that I've done for the cargo ship spawns. So we'll have an easy, well actually we'll have the 4 groups for this one. We'll have the civilian, the easy, the medium, and the high. So that makes them much easier to replace the necessary behaviors across them. Um, yeah, I really do think that what's been done with Weapon Core is really quite cool. Um, but every time I've looked at it, just like the water mod, it's not ready for a series that I want to play. Um, it's just not easy civ. Ammo easy. Now I think what I might do is create some, make a couple of these watcher bases able to spawn in civilian mode, so they won't always, just so there are a few of them. These don't have threat score minimums and don't need a threat level check. I'm going to get rid of the rest of these. Okay, threat level check gets rid of. $41 civ. Because now I can make ones that get protected later. So if I do it this way, I've got the option of messing with things and having more variation within the current designs that I've made. Yeah, Eisen, I think you've found a reasonable balance so far with Scavenger Hunt and what mods you've got and what you don't. Um, I think you got the idea pretty well balanced for my taste on that front. Okay, they're all easy civ behavior, and none of them have got threat level checks. Cool. So we have our civilian file done. That won't need to be touched for a long while, I hope. Unless I come up with some new little baby bases. Ammo easy. So these now need to get the easy. I need to replace all of the behavior things with easy, including the mediums, if I leave some of those bases in. Uh, I'm going to say let's put this up to threat score minimum 150 before you start seeing these bases. So I get asked relatively often during these streams about what scenarios I might play if they were out there, that sort of thing. Um, generally speaking, for me, because there are obviously other people out there who also make videos for space engineers, I tend to either create the scenario myself so it's unique, or it needs to be something really special, like Escape from Mars, for me to do something that others have done. Because I don't like doing what everyone else has done. I've always tried to do the things I do differently to what everyone else has done out there. Whether that's through the way I do them with Capac or how I start them or whatever else, I do try and take a different approach. Um, so I think it makes it more worth watching. Oh, Gruz, I think I did, but can you... I think I saw that thing you posted about a scenario, but I didn't actually end up getting around to looking at it. Probably because I noticed the link when I was on my phone, not at my PC. The Escape from Hell one. Can't remember which channel you would have posted that in, Gruz. Oh, Discord wasn't expanding links. Oh, yeah, I did open that link, though. But I don't think I subbed to it at the time. Let's have a look. This is what he's talking about. Surviving in Hell. This is a hardcore scenario created for my Hell gas mod. Wake up after a long cryogenic sleep and realize that the colonization mission was a total failure. Each moon has an Easter egg and a road finding them. Yeah. No, OneDrive isn't full. OneDrive doesn't like uploading Stationer's save files. But they're in the Stationer's save files are in the folder that gets backed up. Stationer's save files have file names that are too long. That's what that error is about. Which means I just ignore it. Because I also have important stuff backing up to Google Drive. Because for reasons I have access to both. Well, I've got Office 360 and I continue to pay for it even though I don't use it all that much because my dad uses one of the licenses for it on his computer. And he would be very upset if he lost access to it, so I keep paying for it. And yeah, when Office 360 gives you 1 terabyte of cloud storage, why not use it? Don't mind me as I go get a drink. When I was at university, and when I was doing my, actually when I was working and some of the stuff I needed to do for work, having Office was useful because I was much more familiar with how to do clever things with stuff with it than with OpenOffice or any of the other alternatives. Now, which base is which? And which of them can be an easy spawn without being ridiculous? So I think the one with the antenna dish could work as an easy level spawn. Yeah, I'd like... Graz, as you were saying, no idea how good the scenario is. I'd like to try and do something to be more supportive of people making scenarios, because it'd be nice for more to come out. It's just finding ones that are good enough to actually get a video out of. A lot of the ones I've tried require a lot of hand waving, or just straight up don't work. Kabak and I have tried a few drone-based ones in the past. Just kind of ended up not working. This has a lot of turrets on it, but they're all interior turrets. So it's probably not a bad one. These, I think, with the Gatlings might be a bit much. And these ones are called... what? Operations Outpost. And drone repair facility. Right, so let's get rid of the drone repair facility from here. We'll leave the research facility and get rid of the operations outpost. And what? What is DST research 37? What? That's that one. What's research facility 12? Oh, that's that one. Whoops. Yeah. No, TFE, I'm not talking about Last Stand. I'm absolutely not talking about Last Stand when I'm talking about scenarios that require a lot of hand waving. Last Stand is exactly what I hoped you would make with it. I never wanted you to put the effort in to make it super polished, because I figured it was going to be the sort of thing that we'd have some fun with and then want to change and want to change and want to change and want to change and want to change. And bothering to polish everything just doesn't really work with that. Okay. I'm a little bit lost as to what bases are what now. In fact, I want to do more of the Last Stand stuff with the supporter groups soon. Is there an honest reason to unlock an emote? Depends how much you like emotes. For those who've watched my Twitch streams a fair bit, you'd know that I don't do a lot of the, for want of a better word, twitchy stuff. Okay. So, Easy should have Facility 12, yes. It should also have DST Research 37. And that would be those two out of those four. The observer bases are still in it, I'm pretty sure. The observation outposts. Yeah, okay. Whoop, wrong way. That just squished my legs a little bit. PF Throwaway, you just had to prove the one thing that I do have on here, which is twitchy. Also, Charlie is in a hilarious position right now. Let me just send that through to Discord and then show you guys. As I slowly raise my desk. No, actually send the thing. Discord, phone. There we go. That is how she is currently sleeping. I don't. It's some impressive flexibility. Oh dear. I will stick my back feet up by my head and my front feet as far away from me as I can get them. Almost looks like a very doggy tree. I can exactly see what you're talking about there, Black Shadow. What? You mean you never sleep like that? I'd be impressed if anyone in the audience can do that. Like, genuinely impressed if any of you can do that position. Naughty Steak, chill out. Seriously, it's not that big a deal. Right, we are set with correct bases now for easy. Well, let's spice things up and move up to medium. Okay, medium research behavior. So the medium ones... No, not medium research. I want medium behavior. Base, Atmo, medium behavior. That is correct, isn't it? Base, Atmo, yeah. So these will now all spawn with their little assistance towers nearby. But I think I need 2 grades of medium here. I'm getting on a bit now, but used to do highboard diving, was pretty flexible at that time. Yeah, maybe... Maybe, you would have been able to do something like that back then. I can say for certain I have never been able to get my head that close to my feet. And I think I do need two behavior types. So what I'm thinking is, these larger bases, they do look a little bit weird with these towers, the rusty ones. I think the smaller ones can stand next to the rusty ones and it'll look okay. But I think the larger ones should have either these well-maintained, these two, or one of the future larger designs that I haven't quite worked out the kinks for yet. So I could maybe manage it, but then I'd be stuck that way. Oh. Okay, can she figure out how to open the door? She's done step 1. Oh. Come on, you can do it, dog. You know how. No, no, that's the wrong thing. She's going back to the lock, but she's unlocked the door. Oh, there we go. And she's out the door. Clever dog. Thanks, Nandgate. Thanks for 11 months of Prime. So... let's design the new tower before I move on. Let's design the tower that carries the bigger turret. Would you mind doing me a favor and elaborating on what a doggo tree is? I'm pretty sure that what Black Shadow sees and what I'm seeing is, here we have doggo tree trunk, and here we have doggo tree branches and leaves. Is that right, Black Shadow? Is that what you saw, or have I seen a different tree to your tree? Yep. Cool. I saw the same thing. It's a pretty full canopy, but, you know, could have been well tended to form that shape. Like lots of shade trees in well-established parks are. All the stuff's trimmed underneath, and so you end up with this nice broad canopy. Oh dear, can't judge a tree by its bark. Well played, Eisen. Design tower. Now, I don't think the towers need to be this tall, and I think making them this tall is kind of throwing me off a little bit. So let's just delete you. And delete you. Let's start with... battery... start with remote, then battery. Same as I've done the other ones. then if we're going to do that style of... I'm going to try working with this style of shape and see what we can do to make it look interesting and kind of work at the scale that we're working at. Dexus, I don't have a specific time on the next Survival Impossible. I have done some recording on it. I plan to do some more recording this afternoon, as well as doing some work on my Lego recording setup this afternoon, because I did some yesterday and I got some nice improvements, I think, from what I did yesterday. Oh wait, and this tower also could be another one. Kind of like this tower. I put a remote in this? Yes, I did. What do I want to put in this / what do I want to paint these with? We try weldless. I think it'll just look boring. It's very boring. It's the same with this style of block, though. Though if I do part battered and then add some extra bits in, I can probably get this looking alright. Oh, that's true, passing time. If I make the middle bit busy, then having something really boring on the outside could work fairly well. Which is a fair point. Canada, I won't be using railgun turrets in ACS. Especially not on the planetary bases. I don't want that sort of weaponry to be available on planet with the mod. At most, you might see the occasional ship in space using railguns, but generally speaking, ACS won't use them very much. Oh. Right, I see what you mean. No, I will not be putting this into ACS. Railguns really do look silly as turrets, don't they? Or for your inspiration than being implemented. Yeah. It's a bit bigger than I see where you were going with it, with having the interior turrets underneath, and it's sort of a protected, dilapidated railgun facility, sort of like a planetary defense installation. I could see that potentially being something I do for a whole base, but for a tower that's functioning next to a base, I think it's more than I want. I want these towers to be fairly simple, so they're not the thing that you're paying the most attention to. And instead, the thing that you're paying attention to is the base. That was how it was in my head anyway. Just going to try something really simple at first and see how it looks. So obviously imagine this with half of it underground as well. Or, because it won't be that common that it'll be fully out of the ground. Try something. See how it looks. Heavy rust. And then we grind it down. It does beg the question, does it make sense to up the difficulty by adding multiple weaker turrets to one tower? I plan not to add multiple turrets to one tower to up the difficulty, but instead to add multiple towers. And crew enabled is something I haven't tested with this version of ACS. It's something I plan to test for after release, and potentially even do everything I can to make it work, because I would really like it to work. I think it adds a lot of fun dynamic play to how you interact with the NPCs, but it's something I haven't tested or even looked at yet. Largely due to the risk of scope creep and wanting to avoid that. I kind of like this. I think this works. Because there's little enough rust on these bits, even against the battered, that it just looks like they're a little bit worn because they're such small pieces. Enabled and crew enabled always crash my games when a ship or a base spawns with the bots on it. I've only had it successfully work for one base. Yeah, I don't have any plans on making them required usage. I'd like to test to see if I can get them to work for my stuff, but I don't plan on making them a required thing. Solar panels on towers. Tower goes inactive at night. Thoughts? It'll be deleted by cleanup. Because it'll have no power. So that's why I give these towers batteries. That's why even the towers that have the broken wind turbines have batteries. If I left them with working wind turbines, then I'd get rid of the battery. It's just an unfortunate thing of the minimal, like the standard default cleanup settings. And I try and make sure that stuff works with default settings, because Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of bug reports from people breaking things that are actually fine. Well, I wasn't envisaging this as glass at all. I used the glass because I knew it'd have a minimal support strut look. I was always planning on it being build state. I quite like it. I have no idea how to make this thing more interestingly detailed, though. Corrugated's not going to work. Dusty? No. Yep. Yeah. I've left myself with no ability to attach things on the outside. Like, every single spot is occupied. Because the turret occupies everything on top. The windows occupy everything that could have gone on the inside of these things. I've very much limited my options there. Which is not particularly smart. Yeah, Commander Rogers, I'm interested to see what Keen actually are doing with their AI stuff. I really, really hope that they allow the modders to plug in to the stuff that they do, so that if they want to, they can. Not holding my breath on that, though. I will be back in just a sec. I need to take a quick bio break. I'm just going to... And I need to figure out what I can do to this tower. Be back in a moment. Really should have wheels flying around with Kanak. I mean, he does like to chase them. Oh man, why is this cough? It can go away. Yeah, blaring it. I wanted to avoid it being that chunky, but I'll have a look and see what it looks like if I do. See if it inspires something. If I were to flare it at the top, I think I'd probably do this. Try and give it more than just a little weird flare at the top and actually give it some more interesting shape. I don't immediately dislike it. No, I'm not going to put more turrets around the top. One is enough. Leaving the halves looks interesting too. Yeah, but leaving the halves defeats the purpose of doing this, which is to get more attachment points so I can put stuff like lights on it. If I leave the halves, I've still got no attachment points. I got nothing. Whereas this way I've got these sides to put something on. No, 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 no. I don't like sideways turbines. Nope, 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 nope. So does it matter? It now has a more interesting silhouette. Fair. It's a chunkier silhouette, though. Like, I think this would certainly give us an option for putting an assault cannon turret on top. So you've got an assault cannon version and a Gatling version with different shapes. I realize the assault cannon does fit on the top of here reasonably nicely. I'm just thinking it's not a bad thing for players to be able to know based on the silhouette what they're coming up against. Oh yeah, I forgot to make the towers with spotlight turrets. That's right. I was going to do that. That should probably be this one as an option as a spotlight. Forgot about those entirely. Oh no, the ammo dropped. Yeah. Looks like the head of a nail. Kinda does. Kinda does. I can see that. JJ, we talked about piston-based towers before on the previous stream. The big issue is that there's a very high chance that all of the moving parts of the piston will be placed inside voxel, and as a result will not be particularly happy about that such positioning. So that's why I haven't done that. Do I even need to do anything more to this? Like other than maybe colouring the pipe inside or painting it a different texture. Maybe that's what I should do. I went the wrong way. Can I get it? I don't think I can get it through the glass. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, I think it looks better with that being a bit darker. Actually, don't mind the simplicity of that tower because it's got enough. I think this one's got just enough elements to keep it to retain simplicity, but also still look interesting. It's also unlikely to steal the limelight from the base that it's placed near, which is probably not a bad thing. Hey, I like... saw back in chat, Tommaso saying that this would be my life's work. I like making this stuff as good as I can make it. I don't want to cheap out on something like this tower and then realize how much I hate the towers later as a result. I'd much rather put the effort in now and have something that I'm happy to use for ages to come. Nah, that doesn't work. A lot of effort for something that's going to kill me. Yeah, can be. Oh, I just had an idea of something different to do that I think is probably going to look terrible, but I want to try anyway. So this is probably just going to make it look like a rocket. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Thought it was going to look bad, and it did. Blue central column? Maybe? Can try it anyway. But do it in battered, it should be a bit subtle. Oh yeah. This is looking corrugated. Kind of works on either one, doesn't it? What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon the blue looked better, or the blue looks better, or the grey? Oh, whoops, I had the wrong thing. I don't want to go ultra shiny like Retro Future has. That's a bit much for me. This thing has a sweeping light. It's not red though, intentionally, because I didn't want it red. But these have a sweeping light on them. Yeah, I think I like the blue. Don't think I'll like blue in full rust, but let's see. Nah, can't see enough of it. when I've done the other towers and I've tried to paint them predominantly blue, I found it to be a bit too much. I think having the blue sections be the minor parts of most of the bases is what works best. I think eventually I might do a rusty variant, but I need a rusty base for it to go with. Having a rusty tower next to a very pristine base like these are doesn't feel right to me. Obviously, I made most of these bases before Rusty even existed, so I didn't have heavily worn variants that I could use, or I expected to have in the game. That's why there are damaged ones, rather than rusty, dilapidated ones. I know this is for the ACS mod, but would a few towers like that fit in with the rest of the Survival Impossible base? Maybe. I do plan to have some heavy defense towers around the base in Survival Impossible once I place the Fort Capax around the place to be the distraction. So something like an assault cannon that has a higher range was where I was leaning. For having some assault cannon based turrets around the main bit of the base. That was part of the plan. Okay, since I've got... Those are the same, right? Yeah. I mean, another option mod-wise is to create a separate mod. So there's a separate faction that is the faction that's taken over dilapidated or stolen assert bases and do modifications of all of them. Those are all far too big a dream for me to contemplate right now. I think doing that would, like, approaching it with that mindset right now means I'll never get finished. Or I'll never get this thing out so you guys can even play with it. And I don't think any of us want that. I don't think there's any portmanteau between scrap and assert that comes out with anything but being slightly rude. So I don't think I'm going to do any sort of portmanteau with those. Any plans for a tower with a missile launcher? Oh... I hadn't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know on that one. I can't think of any big reasons not to. I really don't mind giving the player a little bit of ammunition that has a little bit of fancy stuff in it. Can you guys think of any reason I shouldn't? A rocket launcher would need a reduced fire rate. Yeah. Yeah, a rocket launcher would make it very, very, very difficult to assault these things with a ground-based vehicle. Because you need something that can dodge rocket launchers. You don't... You don't actually run these things out of ammunition, though. They don't use ammunition. Um, yeah, it is a shame we don't have a variety of different rockets. It's a shame we don't have rockets and missiles in the terms of rockets being dumbfire, missiles being tracking. Because then rockets could be magnesium, silicon, nickel, and missiles could be magnesium, silicon, nickel, uranium, platinum. So in the early game, you get dumbfire. In the late game, you get tracking. That would be a really nice distinction, I think. No, Mobius, I don't think your last comment did. I just can't think about a way to say that. So I didn't. I don't have the stuff on me. I think those 2 towers are enough. As much as I liked this tower when I first built it, I'm not sure how I feel about it now. I feel like it's a bit too busy with all the lights and stuff. Although, speaking of lights. Do. Tin Man, there'll be another Arc stream, but I don't think Capac's going to be part of it. His agony has reached a point where he, last I spoke to him, did not want to return anytime soon. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. In fact, let's simplify it a bit. Let's get rid of 2 of them. So where did I get green from? Oops. Okay, and last thing that I've forgotten to do with the others, but I'll deal with later probably, maybe, probably not. Let's turn off idle movement. Interior blocks. Yeah. Hmm. Does this look better? I think so. You know what? I'm not going to do them in red. I think the red lighting against the blue everything else isn't quite right. Instead... Oh, these are before I started making all my lights yellow. Huh. These aren't. No, Tin Man, we wanted to take a bit of a break from Icarus. We planned to go back to play some more of it, but we wanted a bit of a break. The devs are continuing to add stuff, so there's new stuff for us to play with, but we kind of wanted to give it enough of a break that there was a bunch of new stuff so that it would feel fresh and new again playing through that, the loop, the game loop. Partially, I think, because of the stream format, as well as the way that the game plays, it did start to feel a lot the same because we had to do everything in as short a time frame as we could, instead of sitting down to smell the roses. So that's, I think that's kind of where it ended up at. I'm certainly keen to go back and play, especially now they've got that sort of horde mode mission where you build a thing and have to operate it for a certain amount of time, but while you're operating it, you're getting swamped by enemies. As long as the enemies are interesting to fight, the baby scorpions that they had for the scorpion missions and the baby cave worms, they were all one-shots, so it didn't really end up being all of that. It kind of, the battles didn't end up being particularly spicy. Yeah, TFE, I think an outpost with the difficulty turned way up would be quite interesting. Especially if you can use that horde mode thing to collect resources on your outpost. That'd be cool too. And yes, burning building at the end was always fun too. Also, apologies, Calmarin, I missed your resub. Thank you. Yeah, I think this will do for base. I think this will do for towers. Now I just got to think of what to call these ones. What to name this style of tower? We have the water tower. We have, what do I even call this? The Morse support tower, that's right. And no, I don't think Chicken Fingers of Death really fits my naming scheme. Air tower, earth tower, fire tower. These were chosen because I wanted the spinny lights on them. I wanted the light to pop through. They look quite cool at night when you're, especially if you're in slightly rough terrain, the way the light gets cast. I mean, we could just go real bland with the naming of this one. We go... Just do that. I'll be disappointed in myself later when I try and come up with another name and I've already used that one though. But they don't really have anything, surprisingly, anything unique to it. Totally random question that is totally not related to something just posted in the Discord server. Excuse me? Am I evil? No. I can be devious. But I wouldn't say that I'm evil. Oh. Hello. There we go. Okay. I'm on board with this picture. Defense post. Well played, Jax. Well played. Yeah, Charlie is almost to scale. Wherever she's run off to. I love the little chest strap jetpack, dog jetpack. It's cool. Fine. Fine. Let me add the thing. Why did you make this so hard to do, Keen? Splitsy's evil genius character. Yep. I didn't finish Evil Genius, actually. What I need to find time to do is lose my prison tycoon game that I started the other day. Because I'm sure I will lose. This one doesn't have a name either, does it? No. There we go. Alright, cool. We got those. That means we're ready. We can do the rest of the stuff I was planning on doing today. Export clipboard to file. Export clipboard to file. And export clipboard to file. That should give us... Oh, I should do this one. Info. More support tower. Light. rename this one. Cool. There was a little headcanon that popped up after seeing you play Prison Tycoon and seeing you make enemies like this only inspired me more. Yeah, I I do prefer to think of myself as devious rather than evil. So I don't want to see the world burn, but I do like to make things challenging. Right. He doesn't want to watch the world burn, just catch on fire. Just a little bit. Just a touch. Just enough that it's fun. Just enough that there's something exciting happening. Now, I've done this for the atmospheric bases, but we're going to need separate towers. Or at least some slightly modified... Oh, voice going. We need some slightly modified... Gah! We need some slightly modified towers for moon bases. Also, the lighting in this picture from the surviving hell scenario makes it look like Capac was sent to hell. He wasn't? No, I think Capac lives in... I think this is his hell. Spawn groups. Wait, what? What's going on here? More support tower 01, more support tower 02, more support tower 01, 03. What? Why do I have an extra one here? Capac in a plain white room with nothing in it. Yeah, I don't know that he'd mind that as much as you'd think. I'm genuinely not sure on that one. As long as it wasn't blindingly bright that... Actually, he can sleep in any conditions. He'd still be able to sleep, so he'd be happy. Water tower rust, light. And there. So now the spotlight versions are available. I just haven't got them so they'll spawn yet. See you, Black Shadow. Thanks for the picture. That looks awesome. And now I need defense silos. 2, 3. Now I've got to try and think of a better way of doing some of this. At the moment, I'm feeling like I'm going to need 2 separate behavior profiles. One for the smaller, easy bases and one for the harder, medium bases. What have I done? That was the wrong bit. Okay. Towers are ready to go. Let's go back to my medium spawn groups. So, what I'm thinking about is these research bases, these lower level bases, they can handle having some of the rusty stuff. But these bigger ones, they should probably only get the higher tier towers. And I'm not sure how to do that without creating their own unique behavior profile that spawns a different thing, which is annoying. Because I'd rather not have separate behaviors for that many different things. The spotlight ones should track the character once you get within their very short range. Nice edit for moon defense post. 2 of the center pipes replaced with oxygen farm. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Oh yeah, they may not track players on dedicated servers. That is true. That is true. So obviously, rusty doesn't really make sense on the moon. So these should be shiny. Oops. I'm just doing this now so I don't forget the idea that was suggested, because I like it. Pop that out. Pop off 3 of those, 4 of those. And that. There we go. Have a moon version. I think the worn look still works on the moon. It's just rusty. Feels weird to me. Back to what I was doing though. You know what? I'm just going to accept that some of the bases are not going to look quite right next to their towers, and that's fine. It is. Or do I only... I don't know what the right thing to do is. I think I need separate... Yeah, I need a separate behavior. Just at medium level. At high, the small bases can get the big turrets too. Yeah, Graz, it was quite sad that for Wrong Way Up we missed some of the stuff like turrets tracking us, spotlights and things like that that you guys could have had a lot of fun with. Atmo medium. Let's go large base Atmo medium behavior. Okay. So large base Atmo medium behavior. That one is not going to get any of the... Oh, it can get the support. What are 3 more support towers? I can get 1 and 2. Get rid of that. Get rid of those. And that's it. Because on the medium difficulty, I just want them to have the easier turrets to kill. I don't want them to have these big ones yet. That's for higher difficulty spawns. That bunker came out really well despite the DS issues. Yeah, it did. It really did. A lot of those battles in Wrong Way Up were really, really fun. You guys did an amazing job as the bots. Even when I was getting unexpectedly headshot by particularly Pav and TFE. Cool. So these now need to be set to this behavior, which I need to rename because I haven't renamed it. So I need to go LF, replace base Atmo medium with large base Atmo medium. Okay. Save that. Copy that. And put it as these. Cool. So that's going to give us the 2 different types of turrets that can spawn at the 2 different types of bases and control it nicely. Then we step up to high difficulty. Once we've done that, I have all of the required behaviors for the Atmo bases, and I just have to copy the idea across to the space bases once I've got towers for all of them. Which shouldn't take long because it'll be, well, comparatively it shouldn't take long because I can use these towers. I just need to make them space looking. So instead of the wind turbine tower, we come up with a solar tower. That sort of thing. Yeah, the tank shooting the hydro tank and everything exploding would have been so... I think part of the reason it was really funny was I got really lucky and my perspective on the event was perfectly... ended up perfectly shot. As in, everything blew up and then I managed to quickly whip my camera around and see the remains running off in an almost comedic fashion. If I hadn't caught that bit as quickly as I lucked out and did, I don't think that moment would have been quite as good as it was. But I'm glad I lucked out on that. Because watching that chunk roll by, that was special. Now, I shouldn't have closed this. I need my towers. Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. What I need to do is add our defense posts. Oops. Graz, you should... I hope you realize I hold no ill will towards you for that very lucky or unlucky shot, depending on your perspective. Yes, the reactions from the bots were not suitable for the language that I use on my channel usually. But it was funny to hear it. I have seen Gruz's footage of what happened. It was pretty funny. You guys, if you've watched the recap episodes, you'd have seen the reaction video as well. Because Moosey used that footage in one of the recaps. Hey, that derpy play. Yeah, the bots really made the series extra memorable for me. The next Space Engineers multiplayer series like that is going to be hosted by Wasted, so he's working on a bunch of mods to make it possible. So it'll be waiting until that happens. The stuff he's doing is I think fairly involved, so he's wanting to get it right before we start. He doesn't want to break things. Huh? Oh no. There are multiple things that haven't been upgraded because I didn't have the naming consistent. Oh yeah, Gruz, it is so frustratingly difficult to aim a custom turret on a moving vehicle. Capac and I are running into that very issue in Scavenger Hunt quite badly, and it's really sad that you don't get the cheated gimbaling like you get in games like GTA 5, because I think that would really help. I hope I haven't just broken that with the renaming I did. Well, that's a good start. There's no thing there. Just got to fix these things up because I realized I've created a problem. There are no small grid towers because you can't have small grid static grids without mods to enable that. And well, actually, yeah, no, I don't think I want to mess with that. I wonder if MES could spawn it in the ground and it'd just be a static base, static grid until you moved up close, but I don't think I want to mess with that. I really want to play with Lucas's new Incon, Ember, and the other one that always escapes me, mods. So I think he's added some really cool stuff with it, and it'd be nice to see what he's done with them to see what I should do with this in some ways. Okay. Right, now we're moving on to the high behavior, which means we need to up these drone spawns and get rid of the single ones. And then we've got this set to max actions 2. So it should spawn 2 towers near the bases. Let's find out what happens when I load the mod to test. Because I haven't yet changed the threat score, I should just be able to spawn whichever ones I want. Oh, nuts. Nope. Nope. I can't do it yet. I forgot a step. Yep. That's what I thought. I haven't actually fixed up my behaviors for the things yet. In the spawn groups. So ammo high behavior is called what? This. So everything in this needs to get updated and made to nasty. Hey Lucas, how's it going? I've made progress. I have just realized that the behavior tag has a U, but not all behavior things have U's in them. I remember there's some inconsistency with that. I think you told me that. Oh, is that a keen? Is that because of keen? Huh. Doesn't surprise me. So high should now be fine. Now we just need to fix medium. So medium has two different behaviors. There's this one, and then there's this one. So I think I might have done this one down the bottom first. In there. Yes, I did do those. Okay. So I just need to do smaller, medium difficulty one. Really, I just missed these at the top. Everything else was done. Cool. Please work. Wait. Lucas, which behavior spelling do you guys in Canada consider the wrong spelling? Is it the same one that we in Australia and England think is the wrong spelling, or is it the one that Americans think is the wrong spelling? At this point, it's one of those things that actually fixing would end up causing more damage. Yeah, absolutely, I can believe that.
Critical.
Yeah, I'm never sure which words Canada uses the extra things for. 12 warnings. What are my warnings? Are they still the same warnings as before? Yes. Still don't know what I've done wrong with those, but I'll have to fix them later. 1 second. Someone's doing some hammer drilling, and I'm going to close my door. Yeah. Canada has some of the standards tough because they have to deal with their neighbours who do their weird freedom units and still use everything else. Slash mes dot spawn planetary installation. Let's see what we get. We have an observer. We now have a water tower near it. Yeah. So that works near that little base, having something rusty. And you can see why, with the terrain height differences, this needs to be relatively tall. So that it's neither buried nor floating. Yes, Stabby the Robot, there is a mod list for the Scavenger Hunt series. I even included it in the description of the last video. Unfortunately, at the moment, that's the only video with the mod list in it. And there are many mods that are private, which are not included in that list. No, it's not a shame they have to deal with that neighbor, Eisen. It's a shame the neighbor didn't adopt metric when they had the chance. Lost satellites and all that. And don't get me wrong, I still think the UK is ridiculous using miles. Why? As for spelling things, I kind of don't mind the US spelling on a lot of things. It's kind of simpler, and that's not a bad thing. What do we got? I want to get one of... Yeah. I gotta fix something. Just realized something I did wrong. Civilian, easy, high, medium. Okay, so civilian, they've all got the civ tag, so they're fine. Easy is all the original names, so it's fine. Medium, we need to up the stakes and up the numbers. Or just go -M for my sanity. Because otherwise we don't actually have different spawn groups and the game doesn't know which one it's using. This yeah. I'm quite happy to pass in time. Them's fighting words are like my miles and pints and still having millimeters to build stuff by. I like making fun of you poms. And I don't get upset when you guys are fire back with what you call it? Us dang colonists or prisoners, convicts, whatever. It's all in good fun. Especially when streaming with Wasted. If you can't make fun of your friends, who can you make fun of? Alright. Hey, Scrabbler. Bye, Scrabbler. Scorpions are not an issue. Spiders are... I don't know, there's probably several around me right now. I don't care. Can't see any, though. Doesn't mean they're not there. Just means they're good at hiding.
Fuel critical.
Okay, please have not broken things. Yay! Alright, let's get a drone repair facility and spawn that in. Here we go. Spiders are good at hiding, just like hippos. I like that, Logan. I like that. Just making sure the behaviors trigger. Yep, we're getting drones coming in. I'm spotting one tower. Don't know if I'm spotting the next one. Hopefully Lucas is still here, because then I can possibly find out whether it's a random or whether it'll always be 2 in the way I've set it up. Oh no, we got 2 towers. Whoa, that's close. Huh. It's real close. Might change that. Behaviors. Base ammo high. Minimum distance. 60. Yeah, the not shooting me thing is... It's just keen. We can't do anything about it. Only one of the turrets in the area is going to shoot at me. I think if I was in a vehicle... Like if I drop this in... Now they all shoot at it. Yeah, Lucas, I do have the towers spawning off a trigger. Because that way they'll spawn randomly in the area with random offsets using a rival AI spawn. And it meant that I could easily randomize which tower was spawning, because I know you mentioned the other day there was a way I could do it, randomize which tower would spawn, but I either missed you saying what it was, but didn't know how to. This method seems to work quite well. To be fair, the one turret shoots the player, every turret shoots a grid does make some sense. Because a player should be able to be killed by a single turret with Keen's usual turret targeting. Cool. Awesome. This works. As intended. It may need some finessing over time, but it's functional. And yes, damage is off. You can blame / thank TFE for me spawning the extra structures off a trigger. It does exactly what I wanted it to do too. I'm not sure it's the most efficient way of doing it, but it does exactly what I wanted it to do. Awesome. I'm actually going to wrap up my stream here, even though I started a bit late this morning. The next ACS stream, I will probably do some more designing. I'll finish off designing the lunar-based towers. And once they're done, then it's moving on to chat, which should be quite an entertaining stream. Because it'll be coming up with different chat options and messing around with that while I'll probably, while we're talking through those things, maybe design some other things here and there. Because the chat thing shouldn't take too long to do. Creating a spreadsheet of the chat things for my supporters to record, that's going to take a bit of extra work, but that shouldn't be too bad. And then it's picking the inhibitors, balancing frequency, and then making some pictures and release. Like, it's real close. It's properly close to being ready to go. And then for everything in the future to be tweaks and small additions. This is my base level of mod that I wanted. This has all the necessary behaviors. It has the escalating challenge that I wanted. It has all the pieces of the puzzle that I needed to start with. And then we can start adding extra as I go, which is awesome. Because it means I can then get back to doing the stuff that I really like to do, which is designing the grids. Some of those towers, you could have the battery directly under the turret, so knocking the tower over won't stop it firing. Yeah. I kind of like the idea that the towers can be knocked over and depowered, but I guess some of them should possibly get that advantage. Some of the higher difficulty ones could have the... especially the one with the assault cannon turret. But yeah. I will be back possibly tomorrow morning. I'm tempted to do more of my Prison Tycoon stream to finish off that save and see how I go. See if I can do more of the dare drop challenges that I was set for it tomorrow, which is fun on Twitch because I can actually... it has Twitch integration, so chat becomes the prisoners. So I think I might do that for a couple of hours tomorrow morning, and then I do some more recording on Scavenger Hunt. And then in the evening, Capac, Pav, and I are potentially going to be playing Barrow Trauma. And for those of you not familiar with Barrow Trauma, where is it? B. Barrow Trauma is quite a difficult game. Oh, I probably shouldn't play this in full screen, should I? But it is quite a fun multiplayer game. So that was one of the games we've talked about playing, but haven't specifically decided what yet, but I think this was one we were thinking of. So that'll be tomorrow evening. And then, of course, all the usual stuff back next week. So there's all that and plenty more to come. And I will see you then. Thanks for coming, everybody.